Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So now that we have this fat NHL break, I thought it would only be right to update some of my pyramids for every single position. If you followed me back in the summer, I did a Shesterkin Summit, a McCarr Mountain, and a McDavid Mountain, goaltender, defenseman, and forward. And today we got a new goaltender mountain. It's going to be a Hellebuyck Hill because Connor Hellebuyck has been so good. I think even though you can maybe argue that Shesterkin maybe would be the guy that you would want the most in the playoffs, Connor Hellebuyck at this point is pretty much the undisputed best goalie in the NHL after winning the Vezina last year, being the odds-on favorite, like minus 800 at this point to win the award this season. So yeah, we're going to update this pyramid. Where's Shesterkin going to be after being at the top? Will he fall a tier? Will he fall two tiers? We're about to find out. Let's not waste any more time with the goaltenders. I'm not as biased towards this season as say with the skaters and the defensemen, because with goaltending, it is so sporadic year to year. I look at more so of the track record of these guys to kind of determine them. This season still definitely means the most, but just because one guy's having an out of this world season, he might not be as high in the tiers as maybe you'd like. And again, I did my goalie rankings like 3 to 4 weeks ago, but things have changed to a degree, and no one's going to massively drop off that much just because of some games. But it's not just going to be a repeat of my goalie rankings, just so we can prep that. Let's get into it. Up first, we have the solid starter slash goalie. Some of these guys are backups, but like very, very high end backups, like a guy like Charlie Lindgren. And up first, we got Peter Kochetkov. Been pretty solid in Carolina this year once Anderson went down. I'm not going to have Anderson on this because he's only played 25 regular season games the last 2 seasons. Hopefully, whenever he's healthy, he's great, but hopefully he can stay healthy until he fully plays a decent, sizable amount. I'm going to have him off this. But yeah, Kochetkov, low end starter, about average starter, probably a top 21 to 25 goalie in the NHL. Anthony Stolarz, it wasn't just Toronto. Also last year, he was better on a per game basis. It was only 25 games than Bobrovsky, so he definitely falls within my personal top 20 right now. John Gibson has really rehabbed his image. One of the best goaltenders of the late 2010s, had some down seasons on bad Anaheim Ducks teams, but in his own right, he maybe wasn't that good. He's been awesome this season. He right now has a 914 save percentage on the Anaheim Ducks, so hopefully he gets traded at some point. That'd be fantastic to see him try to go to a contender. Cam Talbot last year had like a 915. This year playing very solid yet again for Detroit. Joseph Woll, on a per game basis, he's been awesome. He's been a good starter, but has not really been able to stay healthy the last 2 seasons. Stuart Skinner might get some flack for that, but had a horrible start this season, like the prior season, but has kind of stabilized. Been about a 908 goaltender since the first month of the season. Charlie Lindgren, already talked about him. Much better than his brother. I don't know why I just threw a Ryan Lindgren shot, but I tend to always do that. Charlie Lindgren last year was a monster for the Washington Capitals. Basically got them into the playoffs the last 2 months of the season. Still has been a very effective as that kind of 1B and now so more of a backup to Logan Thompson, who we're eventually going to get to. Vejmelka, it's weird. Vejmelka 2 seasons ago, awesome. Even though he only had like a 903, Arizona was a bad team. Then he kind of falls off a decent amount. Connor Ingram rises as looking like the future number one in Arizona at the time. Now Vejmelka's playing great. Connor Ingram's playing kind of shit on that Utah team that has dealt with so many injuries to the blue line. He's really stepped up in a big way. Jordan Binnington last year had a 913 in like 50 games, has not been as good this year, has like an 898, but I still think he's a pretty solid starter. Really carried the Blues last year. Blackwood might be a little bit controversial. You could definitely move him up into good starter. Had a great first couple games with the Colorado Avalanche, first like 2 to 3 weeks. Has slowed down a little bit in the new year, and he does have some consistency issues. So you could put him in good. He'd probably be the guy that I would move up to good from this tier. Next up, Sam Montembeault. Really has established himself as a solid starter the last couple of years, finally getting the true lion's share of the work in Montreal. UPL, last year from like January to March was like the best goalie in the NHL, has been a little bit inconsistent. And then Dostal, probably been a top 15 goaltender just this season. That start was insane, and of late he's been playing very good. But similarly to a guy like Dustin Wolf, just doesn't really have the track record as of right now to put him within like my top 15. So that's the solid starter slash goalie tier. We're going to move on. Good starter, Darcy Kemper. Very good for the Colorado Avalanche in 2022. Very good for the Washington Capitals in 2023. Fell off severely in the 2023-2024 season, but looks like he's back since the new year has been, I believe I did an Instagram post, has the highest save percentage in the entire NHL. His save percentage is up to like, I think like 920. I have it pulled up right now. He has a 916, 918 this season. Has been a beast. And again, the track record has been there since 2018. This guy's been a damn good starter. but last year was kind of bad, so you can't really put him in elite. Sergei Bobrovsky this year has struggled a fair share, hovering around a 900 this season on a pretty good Florida Panthers team. You could probably argue that he's a solid starter slash goalie, but what this guy's done in the playoffs the last 2 years, as well as last year in the regular season, you still need to respect that. UC Saros is another guy that's having a pretty down regular season after last year not being that good. But yeah, I think the 3 prior seasons where he put up back-to-back like top 5 goalie seasons in the entire NHL, I still have him in good starter for now. And again, the team in front of him is not doing a ton of favors. Joey Decord might be like the most underrated goalie in the entire NHL right now. 915 last year. This season has a 915 as well. And more impressively, Seattle's defense score has been much worse this season compared to last year. He's been a monster. He's knocking on that top 10 in my ranking. If he keeps this up, he's probably going to jump Saros and Bobrovsky if those guys don't turn it around relatively soon. Aiden Hill, ever since the 2023 playoffs, has been a damn good starter. This year, probably going to put together his best regular season of his career. Jeremy Swayman, betting on the track record with Jeremy Swayman, considering his first 3 years in the NHL, although he was more so in a 1A, 1B role, was like one of the best goalies in the entire NHL. It has not been good. It's been better of late to start the season. He had like an 880. Right now he's hovering at around an 898. He needs to bounce back though. Philip Gustafsson this season arguably has been a top 5 goalie in the entire NHL. Back in 2023 was a top 5 goalie in the NHL, had like a 931 in 40 games. Tends to be more so of that good goaltender compared to maybe what we saw last year. And then I got Thatcher Demko. Previously in my top 20, I didn't rank him because at that point he had only played like 6 or 7 games on the season. But of late, the last week heading into the Four Nations break, he was fantastic. He had like a 985 in 3 games. But yeah, hopefully as long as he can stay healthy, and I think he actually left one of his games this past week. When this guy is healthy, he's elite. He's arguably a star. But again, we just need to see him stay healthy, because that has been a massive problem for Thatcher Demko throughout his entire career for the most part. Next up, we got the elite tier, Linus Ullmark, 2023 Vezina winner. Last year was more so of a 1B, only played around like 38 to 40 games, but was very good this season for the Ottawa Senators. Currently has a 916 save percentage. Yeah, 9-16. The guy has been at least a 915 every single season since the 2019-2020 season. You want to talk about consistency, and 2 of those seasons were on the Buffalo Sabres, who absolutely stunk. Then he's been awesome. Jake Ottinger has a 911 this season, has just stacked back very good seasons as a starter in Dallas. The underlying numbers have been pretty strong. I think at this point you got to have him an elite considering his consistency. Ilya Sorokin, I dogged on him a decent amount in my midseason goalie rankings, but then like immediately after that, he flipped the switch. He's arguably been the best goalie in the entire NHL the last month or so. And when you look at his track record, 2022, 2023 arguably should have won the Vezina over Linus Ullmark, but his record and regular numbers were just so insane. But yeah, the second best goalie in the NHL in 2023, 2022 was awesome as well. And even last year in a down year was a 908. I'm back defending my boy. It looked like we maybe lost him, looked like he maybe wasn't the same guy after dealing with some back issues. He appears to be all the way back. Logan Thompson, although he had a rough last game heading into break, has arguably been as good as Hellebuyck on a per-game basis. Now, Hellebuyck has played like 13, 14 more games, so he has without a doubt earned the Vezina as of right now. But yeah, Logan Thompson has been awesome, and in prior years was above average to good for the Vegas Golden Knights. And he's only 27 years old, so this is really just him hitting his prime. It's not like he's just 31 years old and has flipped some kind of switch. This has been an ascension by Logan Thompson and has definitely entered the elite tier. And then Jacob Markstrom. He's been inconsistent in years past, but he's stacked back-to-back top 10 goalie seasons. Before this season, he was without a doubt a top 10 goalie, arguably could have been on a Vezina ballot. And last year in Calgary, he was damn good. In 2022, he was a top 5 goalie in the NHL. 2023 was a little bit shaky. We don't talk about 2023. But yeah, 3 out of the last 4 seasons, he's been like a no-doubt top 10 goalie, so I think you got to put him in that elite tier at this point. The final 2 tiers are pretty self-explanatory. Vasilevsky has bounced back in a big way this season, currently sitting at a 918, playing 43 games out of like the Lightning's 55 or 56 games. He's back to yet again being a workhorse after dealing with that back injury. Shesterkin, his regular numbers aren't good. I believe he's sitting at a 908 right now, but his underlying numbers are still pretty easily top 7 to 8 in the NHL. The Rangers have just been that bad defensively. And again, he's been the best goalie in the playoffs the last 3 years, without a shadow of a doubt. So if it's playoff time, I want Igor Shesterkin on my team. And then lastly, no surprise here, Connor Hellebuyck, best goalie in the NHL. As of right now, yeah, back-to-back Vezina seasons, kind of self-explanatory. I feel like I don't even like criticizing his big game performances, considering he has had good playoff runs in 2021, 2018. It's just been the last 2 years where Winnipeg was so clearly outmatched in terms of their defense core for the most part. That's why he's kind of struggled. He needs to be better. Last year, he wasn't good against Colorado by any stretch. But yeah, I hope that he has a big run this year and kind of shuts everybody the hell up. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about this tier list? Who would you move up? Who would you move down? I understand if you want Blackwood a little bit higher. I understand if you move down Saros or Swayman at this point, considering they haven't really turned it around this season. Yeah, I think that this isn't that controversial of a list. The bottom tier, there's probably 3 to 4 more guys you could throw down there. It's just already so smushed. I believe there's 15 guys down there, so I needed to make some cuts, if you get what I'm saying. Like, you couldn't have 20 to 25 guys. You would barely be able to make them out. You can barely make them out right now. Who's down there? But yeah, let me know in the comments. What do you think? I'll be seeing the next one. Peace. We'll be doing Makar Mountain probably next, by the way.